everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers Podcast. I am Jody Grunwald. This week, my guest is an incredible young changemaker that truly cares so deeply about the environment and is involved in working on so many things that she is passionate about. Katie Marra is a high school senior. She's the youngest board member on the Friends of Island Beach State Park board. She serves as a beach captain for Clean Ocean Action. And at her school, she's involved with the Green Team and Pass on Plastic. Additionally, she's the editor-in-chief of her school's newspaper and a varsity athlete involved with field hockey and lacrosse. And if that's not enough, Katie also does all the write-ups for the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. Listen in to hear what she is doing to make the world a better place and what Katie's future plans are after high school. Join us on Thursday, March 23rd, 2023 for the second annual International Today's the Day Changemakers Forum. Our theme is Reset, Renew, Reinvent. There'll be an international networking opportunity, a global mission moment, and changemakers from around the globe will lead interactive panel discussions on topics such as the Great Reinvention, Power of Perspective, Mindful Leadership, the art of law of attraction and manifestation, social media survival, and owning your future, finding your voice. Go to todayisthedayliveit.com for your ticket. Also, if you are interested in publishing your words of inspiration in the Inspiration from Everyday Changemakers magazine, think Chicken Soup for the Soul for Changemakers, email Jody, Jodi, at todayisthedayliveit.com for more information. We hope to see you at the next International Changemakers Forum. Please subscribe to the Today's the Day Changemakers YouTube channel. Stream this podcast on all streaming sites. Reviews and shares are always welcomed and help us to be heard. Like us on Facebook and Instagram by going to Today is the Day Live It. To learn more about Today is the Day consulting and coaching services and the new Today is the Day Changemakers Connective, go to todayisthedayliveit.com. Sign up for our mailing list to be notified when new events and networking opportunities become available. Also, I am the CEO and co-founder of the Zach G. Applaud Our Kids Foundation. To learn more about how the organization is connecting children with a financial need to an ongoing creative outlet, go to applaudourkids.org. The views expressed by all Today's the Day Changemakers podcast guests are their own. Their appearance on the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast does not imply any endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. Have a great week, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. I am Jody Grunwald, and as I say on every single podcast episode, I get to interview the changemakers, the inspirers, and those who are disrupting the status quo in their corner of the world and beyond. And I'm always so excited to interview young changemakers who are doing incredible work. And today I have Katie Marra with me. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm good. Good. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to this conversation. You're doing so much and you're so young. And so I'm going to share a little bit about you from your bio that you shared with me, and then we'll chat. Okay.
Okay.
So Katie is a high school senior in New Jersey. She's a board member in charge of graphic design and social media for the Friends of Island Beach State Park, a nonprofit volunteer organization aimed towards enhancing public appreciation for the park through events and outreach programs. She also serves as a beach captain for Clean Ocean Action, a nonprofit which uses scientific analysis to enact effective policy to protect the New York and New Jersey coastline. So important. At her school, she's involved with the Green Team and Pass on Plastic, for which she has drawn up a petition to eliminate plastic within the cafeteria and received over 500 signatures. Additionally, on top of everything else, she is the editor-in-chief of her school's newspaper and a varsity athlete involved with field hockey and lacrosse. Oh my gosh, when do you have time to actually do schoolwork?
Right.
But how is that? How do you have time, Katie? I mean, so many adults have problems with time management. How do you find time for all of that?
I definitely use my planner religiously. If I didn't have that, it'd be rough.
Yeah. So so you use your planner, or is it an electronic version, or you use a hard copy version?
I am a fan of Google Calendar, but I prefer to write things down because it helps me remember better, because my memory is rough. I need the planner.
Wait till you get to my age. The memory gets even rougher.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I mean, there's so much to talk about here. So, I mean, how old are you right now?
I'm 17.
So you're 17. When did you start? I mean, I'm reading from your bio. There's a lot of things that you're really connected to when it comes to the environment, which is really amazing. And I love what you're doing to try to save the environment in any way that you can, joining different boards. And we'll talk about you being one of the youngest or the youngest on the board that you're on. But talk to me about when the interest about connecting to the environment and helping to save the environment became passionate for you.
I've always I always had like a deep like appreciation for nature. Like when I was younger, I went camping a lot and still do with my family. We have like we all like pack like the RV and then we go like cross country all the way out to California and stuff. And we've been to like so many national parks, and I've always been like, you know, drawn to the outdoors and everything. And I think it's important to like just like connect with nature and like chill out and stuff.
Why did this become so important to you? Is there something that you're seeing a change in the way things are being done that you're concerned? Where's your concern coming from?
Certainly climate change. I mean, a lot of people my age, especially, like experience like climate anxiety and just the current state of the planet. Like every time you look at the news, it's like devastating things that are happening, and especially like my generation, like it's easy to feel like helpless because of everything that's going on and everything that's already happened, and it feels like everything's already been ruined. So I think it's important to like get involved and get out into like nature and get involved with certain groups to like help in any way that you can, because it's not hopeless and there's no point in giving up because it's not productive.
That's really true. And I think it's something that you might be able to share. And I love what you just said. It's not hopeless. And there is no point in giving up. Like, and you also said, so much already is ruined. However, if we only think that way, right, then nobody will ever pick up and do the things they need to do. So what advice do you have for young people like yourself? What do you suggest that they can do to get involved? A first step. Any thoughts that you might have on that?
I would definitely say, I mean, it's easy to like follow accounts, like even like on your phone, that
Mm.
um, are like groups like involved with like environmental activism. And if you can get out to a protest, I mean, that's great. I'm lucky I live like close to New York City and I've been able to go to some climate protests. There's actually one on March 3rd, if anyone's interested. It's like a nationwide protest um, for climate change. And they're really interesting. You get to talk to a lot of like-minded people. A lot of different groups all come together and with a common interest. And climate change, I feel like, is something that like it affects all of us. We're all in it together. It's not like too much of a like debated issue, or like it's like, like you can have different points of view. I mean, you certainly can, but it's a very uniting like problem, I think. Like even though it's definitely a bad thing, like it brings us together for like to share a common interest.
So what is the protest? Is there a special group that's putting that on? Do you know the name of the group?
Fridays for Future is a group, and they have actually weekly protests. They um, started by Greta Thunberg. She did the weekly climate strikes, and I know that's not feasible for every student to skip school on Friday in the name of climate change, even though that's amazing. But she organized that, and then it's been going around the world. Fridays for Future NYC is the one that is based in New York, and that's their Instagram. If anyone's interested, and that's how I found out about the climate protest in September, and the one in March too that I'm going to be attending.
So you said that when you've been to a few already, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're peaceful, I would assume, right? They're very peaceful
Yeah,
and they're
with music, it's great. It's awesome.
let's talk about that a little bit. So there's music and you said it's camaraderie, people coming together. I would assume very productive conversations.
Yeah. We marched from Foley Square to Battery Park in New York City, and it was just a huge group of people. And it was well organized. I mean, the police were there, like guiding traffic and everything, because it was a giant group. We took up the entire streets, and marching up and down, and everyone was like chanting and they're singing, dancing, like there are these women dressed up as like the Spice Girls, but like climate change version, and it was like fire and ice, and it was all this like cool like different like the elements and stuff. It was awesome, and everyone was just like singing and dancing. And then when we got to Battery Park, it got a little more serious. Everyone calmed down. We all gathered around to listen to people talk about their own experiences with climate change, and there were a lot of different points of view, and it was very interesting.
So you said you've visited a lot of campsites and different parks around the country, which is amazing that you've gotten the opportunity to do that. Have you experienced or seen anything climate change wise while you've been in nature? Has something sparked you that you've seen you've been surprised about?
I mean, I've definitely had experience with wildfires when I went out to California. Everyone's always talking about it. Wildfires as well as the drought too. I remember the campsite was completely shut off from water because of the droughts, and no one could get access to water, and it was really bad. And of course, everyone, like, no one was watering their lawns. It was like a whole big thing. So the California droughts were crazy. And the year I went to Death Valley, which I don't remember exactly what year it was because I was younger, but it was like the hottest summer on record, and they were selling postcards of like highest temperatures in Death Valley. It was like insane.
Wow,
And
you've
it's like the
experienced a lot.
hottest place in California or whatever in like the world, so it was cool.
What did you say? The hottest dry place?
Yeah, it's like either the hottest or the driest place. Um, it holds some record for that, and that was like the record year for the record place, and it was like a huge thing.
And you got to experience that, so that must have been super fun. Oh my goodness. So I mean, you are on the board, your board member, it says here, in charge of graphic design and social media for the Friends of Island Beach State Park. You must be the youngest, I would assume, member of the board. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that board structure. Youngest, and then, how many years older would the next person be, do you think? And I say this, I just want to say a caveat, because I want those who are listening, who are young or parents that have kids that are really into anything, to understand that you could actually have a spot if you do the things that things that Katie's doing. You can find a home somewhere that you're passionate about. So Katie, go ahead, share. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I everyone's very welcoming too. It's a great experience. I attended a board meeting for them over Zoom just last night, and it's great. I think probably the oldest or the youngest person besides me is probably like 30s, 40s. I don't want to like assume, but
No, of course. But like I said, I say this as a caveat, and we're not bringing age into it, but what I'm bringing in is the fact that when you're that passionate like you are, you can find a home somewhere to help to try to make a difference. So how did you do that? How did you like find Island Beach State Park and decide to say, hey, I'd like to raise my hand and be on the board?
I've always gone there since I was younger, just to go to the beach, for like summer days and stuff. And I got involved with their Beach Plum Festival. They have to like commemorate the harvest of beach plums, which is like a cool fruit we have that only grows in our like specific sandy soil, which is great. And then I got to talking with the volunteer coordinator, and she was saying how they need some social media help and stuff, and maybe new T-shirts designed. And while I'm not so much like digital, I drew up a few designs for her, and I'm gonna get them digitally put like altered and stuff so that they can be onto the T-shirt. And I also run the Instagram, which is cool because they haven't had it active for a while, and they haven't had anyone who has it. They have Facebook, of course, which I'm not as Facebook inclined, but I've been posting on the Instagram, and it's just good. It's the greatest thing to advertise and to get it out there, because it's most likely for people to see, especially during the winter months when, like, if you're going to put up a flyer for an event, no one's really going to see it because no one's down at the beach when it's like 50s, 40s degrees. So yeah,
What's the Instagram handle so people can follow?
it's FOIBSP, I believe.
Okay. And so, yeah, and we can put that in the show notes too, as well as the, so it's FBISP.
FOIBSP.
Okay. FOIBSP, making sure of that. And so you're there for, how long have you been on the board now?
Just a few months.
Okay. So Brandy new to that.
Yeah, it's been good so far.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you're leading the way because hopefully more young adults will be able to, join boards and be part of things and grow with these organizations. They need the fresh minds and also the expertise. Pam 10 is a leader in IT enterprise solutions and staffing. They are driven to transform their clients' business performances. They do this every day by providing their clients with the best services and products like BizLego, an online community platform, and Colear, a unique learning management system. They also transform the lives of women and children through their associated nonprofits, SheTech, which supports women in and joining the technology field, and Softkin, support organization for kids in need. Pam 10, technology for social good. Go to pam10.com for more information. Now, you're also beach captain for Clean Ocean Action. Talk about that.
So I also began that. Well, I started doing beach sweeps with them a few years ago, and then I applied to do a beach captain position this year. And you basically help like organize and like show people around when they're cleaning up and help collect the data, which is the most important part. The data collection is awesome. So when you do a beach sweep for Clean Ocean Action, you have to tally every kind of pollutant you see. So you'll count how many cigarette butts or like plastic bags. And this helped pass the plastic bag ban in New Jersey, which was really cool. Clean Ocean Action's data contributed to it and allowed for the plastic bag ban to be passed and allowed it to stay because the data every year from the beach sweeps shows that the plastic bags are obviously, there's a huge decline in them by the ocean, in the ocean, and in the dunes. And that's been really important for the health of the ecosystem.
So you've seen a decrease is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. So they're collecting stats. How often would you say? Do you know?
Twice a year. There's a beach sweep in October and one in April.
Wonderful. Okay, April's coming up. So I guess, is there a way for people to get involved in the beach sweeps, or is it only certain people?
Yeah, I can get you the date for it if you want to add it at the end.
That'd be great. Yeah, let's share the information.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's really, really important. And then you go on that you're part of the green team and Pass on Plastic, for which you started a petition at school and was able to get 500 signatures. And those are 500 signatures of teachers and students, or students?
Yeah. Teachers and students, mostly students, but yeah.
So now I know a lot of teenagers. I had two of my own now, they're in their early 20s. And I know that for the most part, it's not always easy to get the attention, right, of everybody on a specific problem or challenge. How did you go about getting 500 signatures from your peers?
I first wrote an article about it for the newspaper just to like inform people on the dangers of plastic and the long-term effects and the alternatives, which I suggested bamboo cutlery instead of plastic, like forks and knives and everything. And people were very receptive. And when I passed around the petition, I went up to every individual person. I had on a clipboard everyone's signatures and then the article underneath to flip over and show them. It was just a quick pro and con plastic list because no one wants to read, a whole paragraph like just between classes and stuff. And all I had to say, I mean, I of course went on to like give them the full information, to give them my whole spiel, so it was fair and like a random sample, which was like, able to be used. But all I had to say was like, hey, do you want to sign a petition to get rid of plastic in the cafeteria? People were like, yeah. Like a lot of people my age, I feel, are very just on board. They get it. They understand. And like, while not everyone wants to like specifically like get involved, if like and like go out there and get involved, if the opportunity is presented and like if you're presented with the option, of course, like ban plastic, like yes, it's like just like a no-brainer, I feel like.
It's easy, right? Well, you made it easy for them, and that's what people want. They
Yes.
if you ask them to go out and clean the beach on a Saturday morning,
Yeah, it's a different story.
it's totally a different story. But if
Then
you
it
ask
comes
them,
down to
hey,
the person.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Then it comes down to the person.
Yeah, exactly. And their value system and what's important to them, and if they have time, and if other things in their family aren't going on. But if you
Yeah.
hand them, either an electronic version or a hard copy version of, sign here, for the most part, if they care about the environment, especially if you talk about how this will make a difference, I can see how, and your passion, Katie, that's the other thing. Our passion always helps to drive initiatives in the world and help people come on board with us. And you're very passionate about this topic.
Yeah, certainly.
So you, not only that, after that, you're also, let's talk about, and I know you're very passionate about this, because for those who are listening, Katie is the person who does my podcast write-ups. So on top of not only, which she didn't put in her bio, on top of not only all those things that she talked about, she also writes up the podcast notes that you see on YouTube, that I place on YouTube and on the streaming site. So you'll be able to tell that Katie is a phenomenal, and I mean that, phenomenal writer. And with that being said, talk to us, and I want everybody, the listeners, to hear about why writing is so important to you, and where that all started for you.
I mean, yeah, like when I was younger, I was very into poetry and like reading, and I still love reading poetry. Not really so much writing anymore, but especially when we would go camping and we would go for hikes, and we would like just spend all day outdoors, and then we would come back to the campsite, and everyone would just kind of hang out by the fire and stuff, and I would just write forever about everything I saw, and just like fill up my journals, and just like I would make up stories about like the animals I saw, and just like silly little things like poems and like just short stories and stuff. And then I got into scientific writing, and I've been really interested in environmental journalism and informing people about what's going on with the planet, what's going on with climate change and everything. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it progressed. Um, I I love any kind of writing, to be honest. I enjoy writing the podcast. I think it's so interesting to hear about people's like different points of views and stuff, and their ideas and interesting things people are doing in the world. And yeah.
No, that's great. And so now you became the editor of your school newspaper. How long have you been doing that?
I was an editor last year. This year the editor in chief, and my first 2 years I was a feature writer.
So now, future plans for you. Let's talk about that as you're heading off soon, next fall. What are you looking to do? Do you have thoughts?
I actually got into Rutgers University today, which was cool.
Congratulations! That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so happy for you. My niece goes there. Yay! That's awesome.
Yeah. I got the letter that I got into the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, which is what I wanted to do, and I'll hopefully go there. That's the plan.
Fingers crossed. And anybody listening too, all these kids, the cost of college is insane. And so I'm total advocate for getting as many scholarships as you possibly can. So if you know of one that fits what Katie's trying to do, I want to help all of those young. Yes, absolutely. I want to help all of our young change makers who are heading off to put their futures, plan their futures. please let me know and email me directly, and I'll get the information over to these young change makers and how they may be able to get some scholarships in the fields that they're looking to go into. So important. So we're cheering for you, Katie, because I feel like you have just an incredible future ahead of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm so happy that you got in, because I know you and I have talked about it. So that I knew you would. That's incredible. So, and then it doesn't end there, everybody. We've got all the things we talked about, but then let's talk about field hockey and lacrosse. And I know that, you are a field hockey star from what I understand. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I've been playing field hockey for probably 8 years now. This year I broke the school record for amount of goalie saves. I've always loved the position of goalie. My dad is a hockey goalie, and I got my younger sister into it too. My next door neighbor initially forced me to play goalie with her, and I was like, "Dad, what do I do?" And he helped me through it, and it was a good time. And then I've loved it ever since.
That's incredible. And I know that you recently received some flowers, right? At an event too, right? That they had.
Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was I manage ice hockey, and yeah, that was a good time. Senior manager.
Yeah, so you manage ice hockey, and what about lacrosse? How is that thrown in there too?
Lacrosse, I just picked that up in high school, and it's been a good time. I've played goalie for that as well, and it's a lot different, but it's still a good time. Some time outside with a bunch of cool people.
So Katie, hearing about all your interests, and you have a lot of them and you're doing such incredible work. So if I was to talk to you, and I know this is going to be a tough question, so, take a minute if you need it. If I was to talk to you in 5 years, what do you hope you're doing?
In 5 years in college, I'm okay. Hopefully grad school. The goal is, and this is the absolute dream, grad school maybe in Hawaii, maybe at Hawaii Pacific University, or just traveling or studying abroad in any way, shape, or form. But I would love to do some marine science research in Hawaii. I think that would be really cool.
That would be totally incredible. So we might have to do some podcasts from Hawaii. Maybe I'll just have to follow you when you go there.
Yeah, right. That'd be great.
That sounds totally amazing. And I really appreciate you coming on, especially it's hard when you're the one doing all the writing and not usually being the interviewee and then being interviewed. So I appreciate you being on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different, but it's all right.
Yeah, no, you're awesome. You're doing a great, fabulous job on all the things you're doing. But because you do the write-ups, so that I ask the same last question of every single one of my guests. What is a message that you could give to a young or seasoned change maker that you have learned along your journey?
I would probably, I know you asked this question. I should have prepared it before.
But you're good.
I would probably say just just remember, honestly, at the end of the day, nothing really matters. And I mean that in the best way possible. We're all just on this weird floating rock, just hanging out. It's a miracle that we all know each other and we're all alive at the same time. No one really knows what's going on. Just try to have a good time.
Yeah, right. Don't take life so seriously all the time. Is that what you're pretty much saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and enjoy it, because it is a gift. And it is, I love what you said. It's a miracle. You're 100% right. It is totally a miracle. Because, if you think about how you've met people, how you've gotten your jobs, those who are listening, all those things, they say, oh, it was coincidence. Was it? Do we really know coincidence, or did it happen for a reason? We don't know.
Yeah, and because we don't have all the answers, might as well just have fun,
Exactly. Smiling and all of those great endorphins and things that we get out of being happy. is important, and connecting with wonderful people who are making a difference, young and seasoned, is so important. Katie, is there anything else you want to share?
I think that's about it. Come out to the protest March 3rd. Climate protest.
Love it. I love it. Yes. And care about the environment.
Exactly. That's right.
I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to talk over you. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No. I'll make sure I have the info in the write-up.
Absolutely. And I'll put it out there for you. And like I said, everybody, we all need to care about our environment. It's important. This is how we all get to continue to smile together, right?
Yeah. Gotta love Mother Gaia.
I love that. I love that. Well, Katie, thank you for all that you do for the podcast, the world, and all you're about to do too. So appreciate it. Well, I'm going to say, oh, you're welcome. You are welcome. Yeah. So I'm sorry, say that again.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about everything I like and stuff.
Of course. And I'm just going to say one other thing here too, before we end, is that if you haven't already, please purchase your ticket for the Today's the Day International Changemakers Forum. There are 6 topics: a global mission moment, international networking. And there's just going to be a lot of coming together as a changemaker community. It's a connective community. We're connecting young changemakers with seasoned changemakers with each other. Everybody is a changemaker in their own way. Nobody's just sitting there doing nothing. We're all doing something to make a difference, even if it's in a small, tiny way. So let's get together globally, and we can do more when we come together, not just being in our own silos. And that's why I love hearing that you want to travel abroad and do things even outside of New Jersey. So that's amazing, Katie. Thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, everyone, I'm going to say what I say at the end of every single podcast. Today is the day you cannot go back to yesterday, and you do not yet own tomorrow. So what small or large step are you going to take to get yourself closer to your goal today? Have a great week, everyone. Bye, Katie. Thank you.